Hello dear Cut and Sew Tribe, you are welcome to class. So this is our part 2 of bustier with corset. We are in our previous class. We have drafted this pattern you are seeing here, and I promise I'm going to show us how to transfer to fabric and how to sew. So that is what we are going to be doing in this class. Now I'm going to transfer this pattern to the fabric and we proceed from there. So before I cut, let me explain what I did. Under here, I added 1 inch for the seam allowance, for the hem allowance. This side 1/2 inch, this part 1 inch, and here I added 1/2 inch. So here as well 1 inch. This is our center back. I added 1/2 inch. Up here 1/2 inch, and by this side I added 1 inch. I'll go ahead now and cut it out. So we have this for the bodies. So I'm going to cut out the cup from my leftover fabric. Alright, this is my cup pieces. Can you see it? Go ahead and notch the parts that you are going to attach together. That is your bust point area. Do you get it now? So I've cut out the fabric like this. This fabric, the way I've cut it now, I'm going to use it to cut my lining. And I'm going to use it to cut out the interfacing. I'll go ahead and iron down my interfacing. I am using soft interfacing. So I'll do all those now and we're going to proceed. So this is what we have. I've ironed my interfacing on my fabric. Alright, we are going to proceed to the sewing now. And the first thing I'll be doing is this. I will take it to the sewing machine. You know, I said you should notch. Your notches is going to help you now. So I'll bring these two together like so. Can you see it? I'm going to sew it down on 1/2 inch, my seam allowance. I'll join this and I'll do the same thing to this side. Can you see it? My notches is going to help me now. So I'm going to sew it down on 1/2 inch. I'm going to do the same thing for my lining. I will join it together, and this one too, I'm going to bring it together like this. I have my notches here as well. This is my upper part, so I'm going to bring it together like this. This one will come here like this, and I'm going to sew it down using my seam allowance. Do you get it? I'm going to shape this down and I'll come and show you the next thing to do. Okay, so this is what we have. I've joined it together and this is my cup. So the next thing we're going to do now is to create the style lines. Now on the cup, I'm going to create the 3 pieces effect on it. So I love doing it like this. You can just measure like say 2.5 inches here, 2.5 inches on the other side like so. Do you get it now? And this upper part you can make it 2 inches so that that line will not be straight. So and you try and connect it together like this. Can you see it? So just go ahead and connect it together. Do you get it now? So I'm going to take my bias now. I'll take the bias like so. The first part we are going to do is this, so that it will be neat. We are going to create the down part first. Can you see it? So create the down part first before you now put this one on it. So like that, the upper one is going to conceal this. I hope you get my point. So you know you already have your joining line here, so you don't need to draw any lines. Just go ahead and trace this one out first, and you are going to do this on it. So I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So this is it. I've sewn down the style lines with bias. Can you see it? You make sure you do it on both sides so that it will be neat. I did it for both. Now the next thing we're going to do now is to create the style lines on the main bodies. Now guys, you need to be very, very intentional here, especially that part that we enter this the under bust here. You are going to make sure they align. Now this is what I used to do and it works for me perfectly. You know, I will first of all pin down this thing. Go ahead and just pin it down. Just go ahead and pin it down. So once you get to this part of the where we have our bias, you are going to note the part. Do you get it now? So make sure you note the part, and from that part, like here now I have it somewhere like this, and you know this line is going to be slanted, so you are going to note this part like this. That's the first thing I used to do whenever I'm working on things like this. So you note that part, and here now you are going to connect it slantly to this part. Do you get it now? So I've done that, I've done it, and this is what I use. I use my iron to fold it, so I can see it. You may not see it, my crease line are here, so can you see it? You'll see it better from the back. So I've used my iron to bring out the shape. So I will go ahead and draw it out so that it will be more visible for us to see. So this is where the first line I'm going to draw, and I'll just go ahead and draw it out like this. Can you see it? And the second one, I'm seeing it. I'll just go ahead and draw it out as well. Can you see it? So the center line, that one, to just fold it into two equal halves here. Can you see it? I've used my iron as well. So you're going to draw your straight line to make it more visible. Can you see it? And the other one, you can just look for a way of connecting it here, this one, but you make sure that the way it looks here is the way you have it on the other hand. So I've done that with my iron. I am seeing it, I'm seeing the crease line. So now for here now I have about how many lines? 1 2 3 4 5. So I don't know yet, maybe I'll still on the sizing, I may still attach bias there. So I'll take it to the sewing machine now. I'm going to bring them out like so, all the lines. Let me sew them down and I'll come and show you the next thing to do. So this is it. I've done the style lines. Can you see it? Can you see the way it looks also inside? Everything is looking very neat. Now this side, you know, I said I may or I may not. I later did it, the side, both sides. So can you see it? I make sure I trim down the seam allowance before doing this. So if you are doing this, you need to be very sure of your measurements, because you know you cannot amend it again. So this is it. When you join this thing together like this, you may observe this. Can you see it on both sides? So don't worry about it, just go ahead and try and shape it out. You know, this place is because of the seam allowance, so go ahead and trim it out. So you just find a way of just blending it together here so that they will rhyme. Do you get it now? So I'm just trim it out. So and we have everything equal like this. Can you see it? So after cutting it out, I will go ahead and fix my bra just like this. Can you see it? So this is what you want to do. You can hold a little dart on your cup like my own, so that you will create enough depth inside your cup, and you are going to like open it up very well. Now there are times that you have this bigger than your cup, so it happens like that sometimes. This is what I have. I'm going to gently pin it down. I'm going to pin down. I will make sure the allowance I have here is equal to the one I have there. They must be equal, and at the same time you make sure there is no folding at all there. So I'll pin down my cup. Can you see it? So can you see it? Pulling it in like so. And after this now, I'll go and sew it down. I'll sew it around just like I did for the other one. Can you see it? Just pin everything down. So this is what we have. So make sure there is no space in between your cup and the fabric. So I have it like this. Now since I've done this, let me just show you how to fix it. It's very simple. You know, I told you to set the line. This line must rhyme with this. It's very important, and that is where I'm going to like put this part. So can you see it? And I will go ahead and pin it down. So just pin it down. That is the first place you should secure, you know. So after that now, I'll just try and go ahead and bring it like this. So the same thing I'm doing here is what you are going to do to the other side. Do you get it now? So, and I will just pin it down. Can you see it? So pull it together and you have it equal here like this, and you pin it down. So do you get it now? So you are going to turn it to the other side and do the same thing. This other side now, you are going to turn it like this. So can you see it? And you are going to pin it down. So I'll just pin it down like this and take it to the sewing machine. Can you see it? Can you see that this line, I am emphasizing it so that your work will be neat. You make sure it aligns, and when you are sewing, you make sure you check it so that you don't have any pleats under the cup here. So I'm going to do the same thing for this. By the time I sew it down, I'm going to fix it in like this, and I'll come and show you the next thing to do. So this is it. I fixed my cup. Can you see it? So if I open it up, there is no pleating there. So like I said, when you are fixing your cup, you have to be intentional. It's very, very important. So the next thing you are going to do so that all these parts can lay very well is this. I will go ahead and notch it. Can you see? Just go ahead and notch it. Notch it very close to the stitch, but don't cut your thread. You get it now, so that that part will relax. So I will notch it round and I will come and pass in the plastic bone. So this is what I have iron it, and I went ahead to top stitch it. Can you see it? Make sure you do it very close to the cup. Now we are going to pass in our plastic bone. If you have this size of plastic bone, it's going to make your work easier, but I don't have enough of it. So this is what I will use. This one is bigger than this, and the first thing I'm going to do now is this. I'm going to use this one just to through the casing, just to create the opening there so that the other one can enter. Can you see it? So this one, just do it like this, or anything you can use to just through it. Now I will not deceive you, this one is going to be a bit difficult because of the size, but it is doable. So I'm going to pass it in. Can you see it? I don't know. I will do it. I'm going to pass it in to all of them. Now this is what I will do. I will stop like 3 inches before the down part, especially this basque area, because I don't want the bone to make it difficult for me to sit when I'm wearing it. So I'm going to stop like 3 inches before the hem for 1, 2, 3, for the 3 of them. So others I will stop like 1 inch before the hem. Do you get it now? So let me do that and I'll show you the next thing to do. So I've successfully passed in my bone. Can you see? So I stopped here, just like I said. You don't want to exceed this place so that you can sit properly. And as you can see, after passing it, the fabric is now rumpled. I'll take it to my ironing table, and the bone self is not relaxing. So I'm going to use my steam iron to iron it down, and we'll come and do our loops. All right, I've ironed it, and can you see it that it is laying flat? Okay, the next thing we're going to do now is to do our loops. Now this is my bias. I'll fold it into 2 like this. I'm going to sew it down. So I've sewn down the bias, can you see? And I cut out 2 inches. So I'll be using 2 inches for each loop. So this is what you want to do quickly. So from the beginning here, I'll come down by ½ inch for the turning of the lining, and I will space it, my loop, I'll space it by 1 inch. So I'll just mark 1 inch down like this. Do you get it? So I'll repeat the same thing for the other side, and on the line that I marked, I will place my loop like this. Can you see it? Just tiny like that, and I'm going to sew them down for both sides. So this is it. I've sewed down all my loops, and this is what we have. I've gone ahead to join my lining together. So this is what we have. Now if you join your pieces together like this and you notice this shape is not coming out, you can just shape it down a bit. So bring out the shape of the sweetheart neckline like so. Can you see it? Make sure it is equal. And this part too, I'll do the same thing on my lining just to bring out the shape of the sweetheart neckline. Do you get it now? So I'll take it to the sewing machine again like this. So I'm going to sew it down the upper part. I'll sew it down and I'll come and show you the next thing to do. So I've turned the upper part here. Can you see it? So go ahead and notch it down. You need to notch it so that this part will relax very well. So just go ahead and notch it. Be careful you don't cut through your thread. So after notching it now, I'm going to take it to the ironing table back. You need to iron that place down so that it will relax. So this is what you have outside. So you want to push it in very well like so. Can you see it? And iron it down. Do you get it now? So if you have any gum, you can use any gum just to secure it so that it will be stable. So let me go and do that now and we'll continue. After turning the neckline, this is what I have. Now I've ironed it down. Everything is now neat. So can you see the way it looks inside? Now the next thing I'll go and do now is this. I will go and sew down the down part up to this place. So I'll sew it down, I will iron it, and we'll come and do the next thing. So I've turned it the down parts also. So I thought I should show you this part because of the plastic bone inside. It's used to be a bit difficult, so but it is doable. Like I used to say, just try and push it out. So this is how you're going to turn it inside out. Okay, so this is what we have after turning. So just make sure you push out all the parts, and you're still going to take it back to the ironing table to secure the down part and this part of the lining. So make sure you fold it in like so, just like this, because that is what you're going to use to finish up the loop. Do you get it now? So this seam allowance we have left here, you just fold it in with your iron. Do you get it now? So I'll go and do that now. I will come and continue. I've ironed it down and this is what it looks like inside. Can you see it? Now this part I folded it in like I said. So like this is going to be very easy when you want to sew this part down. So this is what you're going to do to finish up this side. So you are going to just sew it straight down like this. So you can make like 2 lines there like that. It's going to make this part to be very strong. So that is what I'll go and do now, and we are almost done. So the last thing we are going to do is the sleeve. So for the sleeve, you know, I said I am using less than 1.5 yards, so I am not having enough fabric left again, but I think this will still be okay for me. So here I have 24 inches by 14 inches. So I folded in 1 I've used my iron to do that. So I'll just go and create my elastic casing. Can you see it? Elastic casing here and here. So, and I'm going to pass in 8 inches elastic. Just 8 inches is okay for my sleeve, and that is what I did here. Do you get it now? So I'll go and do those things now, and I'll show you the last thing, which is how to fix the sleeve. So this is the sleeve. I've prepared the 2 sleeves. So this is what you will have at the end of the day. It's very simple now. Just pick one of these sides since they are the same thing, and you bring it to the side here. Just pin it down and you just sew it. So you do this as well. I prepare my rope. I just the way we did for the loop is the way I did this as well. Just fold in your bias and just sew it straight. So I'll go and attach my sleeve now, and I'll put it on so that you see the final outlook.